Hello, today I am doing a video on some things that I'm experiencing here in Hawaii. I have mentioned it before, but the story continues to develop for me. So I really just feel like today is a day. I'm sitting in a lava field over by some caves that were formed due to the lava in Hilo, Hawaii. And although I'm not going to go play in the caves because I'm really not well and it's not probably smart for me to be taking risks and falling down in wet, slimy caves. So I'm just not going to do it. But I'm sitting over the top of this cave and I'm absorbing the energy of this location. Today I'm doing a video that is not scripted. Normally I write everything down and I do research for them, and I do a lot of little things that are part of how I build a video. But today I basically, I forgot to plug in my microphone. I will just go ahead and do that now since excuse me. Okay, so there's the microphone plugged in, so you probably can hear me better now. But anyway, so why am I doing this video? Well, I kind of want to talk about synchronicity. I want to talk about the laws of the universe, and I want to talk about why I'm here in Hilo, Hawaii. Okay. Now, since I've been here on the daily, literally every single day, something happens to me that confirms that I am to be here and that I am to do this treatment. Every single day, something occurs that says synchronistically, yes, this is right. Now, I'm going to say that although this is right for me at this time, I'm a guest here, and I have no intentions of displacing a local to be here. I refuse, in fact, to do so. Furthermore, there is this energy that came over me that is very common to the Hawaiian people, or to the locals, is that they have these spirits called night marchers. Okay, well, me being who I am, of course, within not very many days of being on the ground in Hilo, Hawaii, I was visited by a night marcher. Now, of course, due to my lack of understanding of what night marchers are or were at the time or whatever, I'd never heard of them. I'd never seen any mythology about it. I had no clue. And basically, I was falling asleep, so I was kind of in that state where you kind of are drifting off and your mind is relaxed, and and I do listen a lot to binaural beats, and there are things that I do that are of a drum summoning kind of energy, because I believe that we are about rhythm and sound and frequency. And right now, my rhythm, my sound, my frequency, it's off because I have cancer. And of course, I, as a light worker, having cancer, and this is why I'm making this video today. I think it's time to talk about this. I suffer from a lot of shame and guilt, thinking that because I'm a light worker, that there is no excuse for me getting sick like this. I realize that's probably terribly irrational, but it occurs. And I've had people say to me things that you would probably find troubling when I mention that I feel guilt and shame for being this sick. I mean, we are both light and dark, are we not? And the truth is that to not entertain all aspects of where I'm truly at this point is to remain in repression and to remain in dis-ease. Okay, so I started treatment here in Hilo, Hawaii this Monday. And I had my first treatment, which I'm grateful to have this treatment, because I'm out of options in all normal senses of the word. And so for me, this treatment is an alternative type of treatment, and it is, I can say that at the time of the treatment, and I was surprised by this, that I could actually feel my blood pulsing in the area where I have really probably the worst part of this disease, and I could feel the medicine talking to that area. And so I did the treatment, and I told my doctor that I'd had a night marcher visit. And what I have to say about that was that not only was she delighted, but she felt it was an indication that in fact this was going to be successful, because she knew in order for me to heal, I needed that drumbeat. I needed that energy. I needed the fierceness that that night marcher brought me. And so when I came back to her on Monday, I had more fire in my soul. And all I can tell you is I did the treatment, and I was frightened to do the treatment because, well, I don't know, if you've ever had, people out there who are viewing my videos have ever had a lot of major medical intervention, but I've actually had to have a lot of intervention. My entire life has been a conundrum of medical problems, so it's not unheard of for me to need medical care. I just will say that. But the level of care that I've needed over the course of my life has brought me to this place that I am simply and plainly asking myself, what is going on here, and what can I do about it? Well, so because I'm getting this ancestral intervention, if you will, and I am now here in Hilo, Hawaii, and I'm eating differently. I'm eating raw. I'm eating fresh. I'm eating what God provides on the land to the people in this local area. And wow, how healing that is for me. I can't even begin to tell you. And there's so much orange and red fruit here. It's sacral in nature. It's rooting in its design. And so I'm eating in a way that I mean business. I'm getting my care in a way that I mean business. And so I have my treatment, and all goes well, and I am thrilled. I am thrilled that I, one, survived my first treatment, and two, I'm here today telling you about it, okay? I'm here, and I'm grateful, okay? So that's that. Well, so with this type of cancer, something that happens to me is that I break into terrible sweats. And it is a very common problem because my body is trying to rid itself of the disease. So my body is working very diligently. But there are pieces of me that need to work with my body in an honest and forthright way. And this is why it is so important that I speak about this, because I think it's so easy to be caught up in the drama of cancer, in the drama of the medical part of it, and it's easy to forget that this is a spiritual problem as well. And I full well know it. And ancestrally, I know it's relevant. And so, every time I have a heat attack, I was asked by Spirit, by my night marcher, to allow them to use Morocco's over my body. And the beginning of this was that I would go to this place. It was a broiling bay. And I asked Spirit yesterday, because I was floating over the broiling bay, and I asked Spirit, I said, this is, I feel like to float over this broiling bay while you shake Morocco's over me somehow is twisting my mind in a way I'm not comfortable with, and I need support. I don't know why this is so much work for me. I need support. And what I got shown was that that was my personal broiling bay, that I need to let it simmer. I need to let it calm. And they said, walk away from that for now and go into the bay itself. Go into the cove. Go into the proper location. So I go into the location that is adjacent to this bay. I have no idea where this is located, or if it's even exactly real, or if it's metaphysical. I just can't tell you, but I know that I got asked to go into the cove. And in the cove was people. The people were there, living on the land. And I further was asked to look in this woman's eyes. She said, "Look me in the eyes. Look at me." And I looked. And I saw my own eyes. That was yesterday, or actually today, because in the middle of the, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was very aware of a situation that was taking place in my family life. Today is my Pluto direct. My daughter, and I'm going to just tell people this because it's true, is someone who is having a lot of emotional connection issues, needs a lot of emotional support right now, is perhaps acting counter to her own best interests, and certainly acting counter to the best interests of her children. And so I called out all light workers. And in that bay, where that woman was, I saw my 2 grandchildren yesterday. So, if this video speaks to you, then please hold my grandchildren to the light, because we are in a broiling bay. We are very much in a broiling bay. And although I'm a light worker, that doesn't mean I'm immune to trouble in life. It doesn't mean that I'm not subject to humble experiences and a need for transformation. We all are at all times. And with that, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do a slight spread on this version of my life that took place overnight. I barely slept last night, and maybe rightfully so. I'd say the well-being of my grandchildren far exceeds my own well-being in some ways, although I need to keep the oxygen mask on my own face. I completely understand that. They need oxygen as well. And so with that, I will use my Thoth deck. I will do a simple 5-card spread, and I will just ask the cards to tell us. My question is, was this ancestrally necessary and important for me to see last night? And one of the things that's interesting, you look at me and I'm like very Caucasian, look at me, I'm Caucasian, so what? But basically, my children look like they're from Hawaii, okay? Now, I didn't know that I was going to come here and feel so deeply connected to this place and to the people of this place, but I do. And spiritually, I know I'm being called to be here for now. And I'm not going to come and displace anyone. I'm not. I refuse. I will work within what's best for the community and the locals. Okay, so now I'm going to put my GoPro down, and I am going to do a small spread, a 5-card, because that is just my favorite, really, to be honest with you. It is one that I kind of came up with myself, and I will sort of explain it today, so in case you're a tarot enthusiast, that you can, in fact, maybe learn to do it yourself. But today, now as an astrology student, there's a little more. Today is my Pluto direct, okay? And I, very much like Hawaii, have Saturn and Sagittarius, Saturn, 2nd house. So, for me, things don't always come real easily. I have to sometimes really desire what I get, and I have to fight for it in some ways. And I think that is something that is a part of the people of Hawaii as well. But you can see the foundation, and this is my foundation. I start with a foundation. I cut 3 times, and basically I think Spirit basically knows what I need to talk about, why I need to talk about it, and where I need to talk about it. So, this is Spirit's design, and but this is the foundation. So the card reading is going to be relationship based. It is going to be, and I find the 3 of Cups to have a little bit of a Mercury feel, like the thoughts that go into relationships, the toasting of relationships, the celebrations or lack therein of relationships. So all things relationship. So the foundation is going to be that in the relationship there is some things to be seen, okay? And Beautiful. Ace of Cups. Okay, something new is taking place. And I can tell you that as of today, I'm fairly clear that it's okay for me to ask for help. It's okay for me to admit that I'm not necessarily all the answers that there are. I don't have them, and if I need help, I ask for it. And so here it is. I'm calling, okay? Because right now it is about rapid transformation. We are, my family, and I'm going to move this camera up so it gets a little more direct on that card. It is about rapid transformation, okay? We are going through some really difficult things. And of course, you know, when you go through things, it does feel all-consuming. It does. It feels like a wheel rolling over you to take command of the situation, right? And that's how I feel today. I really feel kind of like, you know, things are changing. But it is my Pluto direct today. And, you know, things that go bump in the night. Pluto's your 8th house, basically. That's what it rules. Sex, death, and rock and roll. And guess what? I have it in the 8th house. So I'm really impacted. Okay? And it's Pluto direct today. Okay? And largely, the situation is object-based in some ways. Somebody wants things. They want the ease of life. They want the executive things, but they don't want the work that goes with it, that energy that you put into love and relationships. And when you don't want it, it can go away really quickly. And so, you know, I think it's kind of a sad truth, but perhaps today I will say that, and this is in Virgo, okay, this is a Thoth deck, so it does have some astrology on it, and Virgo is going to be basically things about your career and your health, and well, what is this? I'm telling you about my health today. And I'm also telling you about my career, because this is what I do for work, is I provide readings. I provide astrology, natal chart readings, intuitive natal chart readings. And you can see the connectedness to it all. It's all interconnected. We are all interconnected. And this is a card that I use as what I call the anchor. So with the foundation and the anchor, these two cards are the story. So it's about relationships, and the things, the physical things that go on within them, and how executively important they truly are, okay? And then we get death. Okay, what does that mean? That is a card you don't want to see because of the words that are used, but death doesn't mean death. Death means that there's a lot of hard work going on right now, and there is, I can guarantee you that. Today I have called out any and all, everywhere I can call, okay? And basically, death means that something is going to be dealt with. Whether you want to think of it as from the other side or this side, or literal death, which is less than likely, basically what we're talking about is this is about transformation. This is about maybe something that has been broken for a very long time that is going to get the attention that it needs. And that to me is delicious, because it is truly needed. I have felt from this situation, which I have no control over. I can't control another human's choices. I can only implore them to make different ones. That's all I really have. And, you know, as much as I want to jump in and even just take the children myself and raise them by myself, I can't do that. That's not realistic. I'm not well, and I couldn't provide them the home they need. And thank goodness we have family members who are willing and able and can right now step to the plate, which is thank goodness, okay? But death, something is coming. Something is going to change. And that is reassuring in all kinds of ways, because a lot of hard work has gone into these children, and they're worthy, according to the executive branch, the anchor card. They are worthy and of note, and it's been a lot of hard work for them, okay? And basically, you've got a little bit of a Jupiter to expand the work and to get it opened up. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness, I am so grateful to see these cards, because to me they are speaking of resolution incoming. And and as I do this work, I can just tell you that my natal chart shows that I'm going to do this work. I am going to toast cups. I am going to get well. This is going to be my transformation, much needed, much needed. And stay tuned. As I go on, I'm more than comfortable to share what I'm experiencing for the good of others, for the good of life, because none of us are alone. None of us, the aloneness is an illusion, okay? And I guarantee you there's someone just like me who has a problem just like mine, who will find that this is like water when walking through the desert and terribly and deeply thirsty. And with that, I thank you very much for joining me here today. And please do hit the like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like a reading, please do join myself and my lovely co-reader, Pearl Rowland, over on www.twiggie.com. And we have astrology. She's currently an astrology student in astropsychology, Glenn Perry's program. And that is a program that is offered for, it used to be a master's program connected to the University of Connecticut. Now it is a standalone program. It takes about 2 years to complete, and Pearl has just begun. I'm a year into it, and I find that it really does kind of help bridge some of the gaps in astrology, or excuse me, tarot and the psychic work I do. It really does. If I have any question, I can turn to the astrology, and it's really quite literally there. So join me. Come take a look at yourself. Do your work, because really, I think all indications are we need to all be doing our work. There's not one of us that doesn't have something in this process to do. And thank you so much for joining me here today.